You are trading the most valuable asset in the universe, your time, for a fixed number of dollars that loses value every single day. While you sleep, your boss is getting richer off your energy. But what if the roles were reversed? What if your money went to work at 9 a.m. so you didn't have to? Think about your current situation. You wake up to an alarm, you commute through traffic, and you spend 8 to 10 hours building someone else's dream. In exchange, they give you a paycheck. But here is the trap. That paycheck is static. If you stop working, the money stops flowing. This is what we call the golden handcuffs. You are locked into a system where your survival depends on your physical presence. Furthermore, the hidden tax of inflation is silently destroying you. If inflation is sitting at 7% or even 10%, and your bank account is growing at 0%, you are actually working for free for several months out of the year just to keep your head above water. You are running on a treadmill that is moving backward. The only way to win this game is to step off the treadmill and build a vehicle that moves forward without you. Passive income is not just a side hustle or a get-rich-quick scheme. It is the ultimate form of insurance. It is the difference between being a servant to your bills and being the master of your destiny. My goal today is to show you how to break these chains. We are going to look at 5 specific engines that can replace your salary. We are moving from a world of effort-based income to a world of asset-based income. By the time we are done, you will have a clear blueprint to fire your boss and reclaim your life. You don't need $1 million to be a landlord. In fact, you don't even need to leave your couch or fix a leaky toilet. I'm talking about owning a piece of a skyscraper for the price of a cup of coffee. Traditional real estate is the classic way to build wealth, but it has a massive barrier to entry. You need a huge down payment, a high credit score, and the patience to deal with tenants who call you at 3 a.m. because a pipe burst. For most people starting out, this is impossible. This is where REITs, or real estate investment trusts, change the game. A REIT is a company that owns, operates, or finances income-producing real estate. Think of it like a mutual fund but for physical buildings. When you buy a share of a REIT, you are essentially becoming a micro-owner of massive shopping malls, high-end apartment complexes, medical centers, or even data centers that power the internet. The law requires these companies to distribute at least 90% of their taxable income back to shareholders in the form of dividends. This means you get a steady stream of cash deposited into your brokerage account every single month or quarter. You get all the benefits of property ownership like rent collection and property appreciation without any of the management headaches. If the value of the buildings goes up, your share price goes up. If the tenants pay their rent, you get a piece of that profit. You can start with as little as $100. Instead of saving for 20 years to buy one house, you can start owning thousands of properties today. This is the foundation of a passive empire because it scales perfectly. As you earn dividends, you reinvest them to buy more shares, which pay more dividends. It is a beautiful, self-sustaining loop of wealth. Imagine owning a tiny piece of Apple, Amazon, and Tesla all at once. You aren't betting on one horse. You are betting on the entire racetrack. This is how the wealthiest families on Earth stay wealthy for generations. The biggest mistake new investors make is trying to beat the market. They spend hours researching a single stock, hoping to find the next big thing, only to watch their investment drop by 50% in a week. That isn't investing, that is gambling. The secret that the top 1% uses is becoming a silent partner in the global economy through index funds. An index fund, like one that tracks the S&P 500, allows you to buy a small slice of the 500 largest and most successful companies in the United States. You aren't just betting on one CEO or one product, you are betting on human innovation and the growth of the entire world. Historically, the stock market has returned an average of about 10% per year over long periods. Think about the power of that. You don't have to show up to board meetings. You don't have to hire employees. Thousands of the smartest people in the world are working every day to make these companies more profitable, and because you own the index, they are essentially working for you. This is the definition of set it and forget it. If you invest $500 a month into a diversified index fund, compounding interest starts to do the heavy lifting. Over 10, 20, or 30 years, the growth becomes exponential. You aren't just saving money. You are building an army of dollar bills that goes out and brings back more dollar bills every single day. It is the most proven, boring, and effective way to reach $1 million without ever having to read a financial statement. Your traditional bank is robbing you. They pay you 0.01% interest while they lend your money out for 7%. It is time to move your cash to where it is actually respected. Let us be honest, your money sitting in a standard savings account at a big-name bank is dying. It is a victim of corporate greed. These banks take your deposits, use them to fund massive loans and mortgages, and keep almost all the profit for themselves. They give you back a fraction of a penny as a thank you. If you have $10,000 in a regular account, you might earn $1 in interest over a whole year. That is insulting. In today's economy, you need to use the interest hack. This means moving your liquid cash, your emergency fund, or your short-term savings into high-yield savings accounts or money market funds. Currently, many of these accounts are paying between 4% and 5% interest. Let us do the math. That same $10,000, moved to a high-yield account, now earns you $500 a year. That is $40 a month for doing absolutely nothing other than clicking a transfer button. It covers your Netflix subscription, your gym membership, or a nice dinner out, completely for free. This is the laziest form of passive income because there is zero risk to your principal. It is FDIC insured. It is as safe as a bank because it is a bank, just one that actually pays you. This should be the very first step for every ban on money viewer. Before you buy stocks or real estate, make sure your idle cash is actually working. If your money isn't earning at least 4% right now, you are literally throwing wealth away every single hour. This video you are watching right now, it is a digital soldier. It works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, in every country on earth, selling an idea while I am out living my life. You can build this too. We are living in the greatest era of leverage in human history, the creator economy. In the past, if you wanted to reach 1 million people, you needed a television station. Now, you just need a smartphone and an internet connection. Creating digital assets like YouTube videos, ebooks, online courses, or even simple digital templates is the most scalable way to build passive income. Why? Because a digital product has a marginal cost of reproduction of 0. You spend 40 hours making a great guide or a video. That is your work, but once it is finished, you can sell it to one person, or you can sell it to 1 million people. It doesn't cost you any extra time or money to sell that second, 10th, or 1,000th copy. Imagine waking up and checking your phone to see that people in Tokyo, London, and Sydney all bought your $5 template while you were asleep. You provided value once, and you are getting paid forever. This is how you decouple your income from your time. Even if you don't think you are an expert, you have a skill or a perspective that someone else is willing to pay for. Maybe it as a budget spreadsheet, a workout plan, or a guide on how to repair vintage watches. Whatever it is, the internet allows you to find your tribe. This is active to passive income. You put in the heavy lifting up front to build the machine, and then you sit back and maintain it while the digital soldiers do the selling for you. There are companies that have increased their payouts to shareholders every single year for the last 50 years. Rain or shine, war or peace, these kings send a check to your mailbox just for owning their stock. If you want the ultimate royal lifestyle, you need to look at Dividend Kings. These are the elite corporations of the world, companies like Coca-Cola, Johnson & Johnson, and Procter & Gamble. These businesses are so dominant and so profitable that they have more cash than they know what to do with. So, they give it back to you. A dividend is essentially a thank you check from a company for being an owner. But Dividend Kings are special. They haven't just paid a dividend, they have increased that dividend every single year for at least 5 decades. They survived the high inflation of the 70s, the dot-com bubble, the 2008 financial crisis, and the recent pandemic. Through it all, they kept sending checks to their investors, and those checks kept getting bigger. Investing in Dividend Kings allows you to create a synthetic salary. Imagine owning enough shares that your quarterly checks cover your rent. Then they cover your car payment. Eventually, they cover your entire lifestyle. Unlike selling stocks, where you have to give up your ownership to get cash, dividends allow you to keep the asset while spending the profit. It is like owning a cow that gives you milk every day. You don't have to sell the cow to eat. You just drink the milk. This is how the old money stays wealthy. They buy high-quality, dividend-paying assets and they never sell. They live off the cash flow and pass the shares down to their children. I know what you're thinking. Ben, I don't have $10,000 to start. Good, because the best time to start was yesterday, but the second best time is right now with just $10. The biggest barrier to wealth isn't a lack of money, it is a lack of momentum. People wait for the perfect time to invest, or they wait until they have a significant amount of cash. But in the world of finance, time is much more important than the initial deposit. If you start with just $100 a month and achieve a 10% return, after 30 years, you have over $100,000. If you wait 10 years to start and then invest $300 a month, triple the amount, you still end up with less money. You cannot buy back lost time. The blueprint is simple: dollar cost averaging. This means you pick a fixed amount, maybe it is $50 or $100, and you invest it every single month, no matter what the market is doing. When prices are high, you buy fewer shares. When prices are low, you buy more. Over time, your average cost stays low and your total wealth explodes. You need to automate this. Treat your future self like a bill that must be paid first. Before you pay the landlord, before you pay for Netflix, you pay future ban or future you. By automating the process, you remove emotion from the equation. You aren't guessing when to buy, you are building a machine that grows while you go about your life. This is how you go from $0 to $1,000 a month in passive income. It starts with one single dollar. Passive income isn't just about buying a Ferrari, it asks about the word no. No to a boss you hate, no to a 2-hour commute, no to missing your family as big moments. Here's your exit plan from the rat race. We have covered the how, but now we need to talk about the why. What is your freedom number? Your freedom number is the amount of passive income you need every month to cover all your basic expenses. If your rent, food, and bills cost $3,000, then your goal is to build your 5 passive streams until they hit $3,001. Once you hit that number, work becomes optional. You are no longer a slave to the paycheck. You can choose to work because you love it, or you can choose to spend your time traveling, volunteering, or being with your children. This is the freedom exit. The road won't be easy, and it won't happen overnight. It requires discipline and a shift in mindset. You have to stop being a consumer and start being an owner. Every time you buy a coffee or a new pair of shoes, ask yourself, is this worth more than my freedom? The math doesn't lie. If you follow these 5 steps, you will eventually reach a point where your assets earn more than your hands ever could. This is the path I am on, and it is the path I want for you. Subscribe to Ben on Money, hit the notification bell, and let us build this together. Your future self is waiting for you to take the first step today.